Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be continuing our scenario where civilization starts over. I believe we're on episode 45. And in the past couple episodes, there have been a lot of things occurring in this world, such as a bunch of civil wars. We had just a bunch of wars in general. And of course, the main thing, ideologies, which is kind of crazy. The thing hasn't even loaded up yet. There it is. So, ideologies. And of course, we have the militaristic alliances. And well, these have grown. Also, the continent in the Atlantic Ocean has also expanded throughout these past couple episodes. But right now, I actually want to go ahead and put some like stuff out. Okay, so I have counted all of the military alliances in the world, and there is about 46 cross alliance members. I think that would be better if I go ahead and turn it on. There is about 66. Oh my god, the lag. There's about 66 cross members and about 27 Circle Alliance members. There's also, we can also talk about ideology. So there's about 69 flawed democracies in the world, 58 democracies in the world, about 33 fascist countries, about 45 monarchy countries, and that leads to around 205 countries in the world. So I have counted this. I haven't counted every single country, but I've just used what I have for the ideologies, and I do have a couple of events that is going to be happening in this video, and let's go ahead and get into the first one, which has something to do with the good old continent of Africa. But we have to take a look at this red country. Now, there's a thing with like maps, and I don't like two red countries next to each other, and they're not necessarily next to each other, but I just have something to uncover. I don't like this country. In fact, I'm gonna change the color of this guy real quick. I'm gonna change Sudan's color to a more turquoise looking color. And well, this country's about to get clapped. When another country changes color, that usually means another one's about to get clapped. As we see the blue Sudanese moving into the red Sudanese. Now the red Sudanese are far weaker, and the turquoise people are just so good. And yeah, these guys have 3 cities. The other guys have 4, but these guys are just way more economically strong. Like this place used to be important in history. Remember, there used to be a purple country right here. And then there's the beige Ethiopians down here, and the brown Kenyans, but those no longer exist. We'll talk about that later. But anyways, we can see that especially this southern area is getting targeted by the turquoise Sudanese as they just start moving across and they cut this whole area off, which is, I'm not sure if it's a very valuable area, but all I know is that it's just cool. And then here comes these guys, the white people. Oh my god. The white Chadians start their invasion, and well, they start taking a lot of land as there's not just that many people. And the white Sudanese just enlist a lot of people for their military, and they aren't the most trained, but the red Sudanese are also not the most trained, and currently these guys are just destroying them. And then we can see that the purple team starts their invasion now. Same thing with the white team. The purple team doesn't have much stuff at all, and they just take all of this northern, like, Sudanese land. And, well, the rest of it is taken by the turquoise Sudanese. And let's go ahead and take a look at this peace treaty of the red Sudanese. And in this peace treaty, the turquoise Sudanese get all of that land, which is a large amount of land. And do they deserve it? Probably. I mean, they did do a lot in that war. So I would say they deserve that pretty large piece of land. And yeah, for. And there goes that red Sudanese country. They no longer exist. Well, let's head right down south to this area. Now, if you can see, these areas are both, these two countries specifically, the green and the pink, are part of the same alliance. And they're also part of the same military alliance, which is, of course, the Cross team. They're a part of that because they're, of course, Democrat. And they have been folding plans to reunite. I just talked about how there was to be a beige Ethiopian country, but that may or may not be coming back. But first of all, they're gonna release a region within this who doesn't want to be a part of it. So they released this yellow thing right here. So here it comes. The Green Country, who was actually mostly a part of that, if you remember, it was a former Brown Canyon country. They actually first formed the country, and then eventually the other Ethiopians do. And well, this is a groundbreaking event, as this country, who hasn't existed for what is it? Hasn't been a thing for I don't know, like 20 something episodes, maybe like 18. And of course, they don't keep their capital in their old one. They put it in maybe the old capital. And no, the old capital used to be. Hold on, let me get the layer back on. Where is it? Okay, it actually used to be right here in this city. And I guess that's a good thing. They have their old capital back, and people recognize them again. So I guess that's cool. Anyways, obviously Africa, we've done a lot here. So let's go ahead and go to Australia. Well, I guess just Oceania. Now, Australia was a monarchy for a long time, but now it's gone to fascism. And, well, of course, with that, they're gonna continue some fascist ideologies, and they're gonna go ahead and invade your good old pal, this guy. This guy was born out of the Southeast Asian Union, and a couple episodes later, it collapsed. What these South, I mean, you can even see traces of the Southeast Asian Union. You can see some purple over here, and over here. But remember, the Australians and the Southeast Asian Union had a big war and a rivalry, and the war, had the Southeast Asian Union losing this part of land right here to its own country, the Yellow Team, and well, the Yellow Team may have had some offers by Australia to kind of keep it alive, but obviously those offers don't matter anymore, as the Yellow Australia or the Yellow New Guineans are just getting invaded and their capital city is cut off. From here, the Australians focus on more of this coastal area until they even make another landing in this kind of tip area of Papua New Guinea and just take all of this land right here. What is going on? And well, this whole area becomes encircled, and eventually the capital area falls. And I don't know why they're still white up here. That's weird. But anyways, the red or the yellow Papua New Guineans fall. And let's take a look at the peace treaty and up its full annexation. Yeah, the red Australians, or just the Australians, they don't care any what? They don't care anymore, and they're just gonna take all of this land right here. And now they fully own all of, well, what is considered Oceania. In my opinion, just like Ace Pro, I think all of Indonesia and the Philippines should be Oceania. That's just my opinion. And I'm gonna go ahead and say, for this whole Wixo world, I'm just gonna go ahead and say they classify all of this as Oceania too. But the Red Australians, facing internal instability from a lot of regions within their country, is just going to go ahead and stop their annexation of new countries, as they're going on a little bit of a decline internally and economically, but militaristically, they're still up there. Anyway, let's go over here to Korea. The Koreans, who are what are they? They're still a monarchy. One of the few monarchies left in the world, really. They're gonna go ahead and focus on some military expansions. And the first country they're gonna go after is their good old pal, the Blue Team. The Blue Team has been here since like episode 14, and they've gone through some drastic changes with civil wars being big, more civil wars, fighting China, all that type of stuff, fighting Korea. Uh, were they fighting Korea? I think they were in alliance with Korea, but the Koreans, they don't care anymore. It's been like 20 episodes since all that happened. And the Koreans just, they're gonna go ham and start invading parts of the blue team, taking this whole or that's not the Shanghai Peninsula, or the Shandong Peninsula. This is something else. This is the Shandong Peninsula. This is kind of Qingdao right here. Qingdao is a port that the Germans in real life used to. Anyways, continuing on this, the Koreans are starting to make military progression into this area over here and get very close to the capital city. Until an unfortunate event happens, which is the red team starting their invasion of Korea. They don't want Korea to become a big thing again. Remember, this red team used to be the pink team, and the pink team was not on good relations with Korea. But this is kind of different. But this is kind of the successor to the pink team now, since it's more pink. But that actually came from this, so yeah. We'll talk about up this later after this war. I mean. Anyways, the red or I was going to say the red Tibetans, the red I don't even know, the red Siberians are gonna take a lot of this North Korean land, and well, they even separate this portion of land right here. But remember, the Koreans, they don't care. So they're gonna go ahead and take a portion of land out of here, and they're gonna use it for this guy. They take, not that, they take a bunch of their troops and start just pushing it forwards, and they reconnect with themselves, taking all of their major cities back, and that is good for them. However, it's just not enough, as there's just a lot of Korean troop, or there's a lot of red team troops here, but they are slowly starving. Team Star. But then Korea starts their invasion of this land, and while the red team is caught off guard by this, they were not expecting this. One of my friends on Steam is playing Dead by Daylight. Cool. I'll probably play with them later. Not in a weird way, but the Koreans will continue their push throughout this area and cutting off all of these troops. And they are just rapidly going through this territory, and they're doing really. The blue team is gonna push them back. Of course they are, because they're currently focused on the red team, and this seems like it's gonna be a very drawn out war, and it's gonna take a long time. Well, not until this happens. These troops completely just kind of die, and eventually the capital is taken by Korea, and then the red team is just gonna fully surrender. They don't want to deal with Korea. I wouldn't either. What is on my screen? They're just gonna go ahead and surrender. I wouldn't want to deal with them. And well, yeah, this guy is about to get demolished. The Koreans are gonna be nice to these guys and give them a little bit of provinces. But anyways, let's just take a look at what's gonna happen. And well, here is Korea now. They have taken a lot and a lot of land, but they deserve it. They do give this pink team up here all of this land, and I think that's deserved. They kind of, well, it's interesting. Finally, this island has only one country on it. It's taken too long. Of course, the rest of this blue team is just gonna stay here. However, it is kind of once again, this country is turning democratic, especially after that whole, the war. Um, but in the war in China, the big Asian Civil War that happened with everybody. But basically, these guys were turning democratic, and the Great Chinese are thinking of annexing them. Like, not going to war with them, just annexing them. Maybe. Who knows? Anyways, to the last event of this video, I know it's a very short one, it's only around 12 minutes long, but it's gonna be this yellow Siberian country getting invaded by the pink country. The pink country is just doing their all in with this, um, after they take literally the most valuable parts of this country, these guys are gonna go ahead and surrender because they have nothing left. They barely had anything to do in the first place. And they will get all of this land. The purple country will get all of this land, taking the former capital of this country. And where are they gonna possibly move it to? They're gonna move it. Whoa, no, not to the blue country. They're gonna move it right there, which is, no, not there. They're gonna move it right here, probably their most populated city now. Although, really, there's nobody living. By the way, it's a little bit of a story time for like a minute. Basically at school, there was this kid that like he always is at my table, and he never sits down. He never. I'm not even friends with him. I literally don't know who he is. And one of my other people who I know, I don't really like him. But he pretends to be friends with me. Um, I'm not gonna say his name. He got into an argument with the dude that is always kind of just there, and basically the dude that is always there, let's just call him no, let's call him E decided to throw, I think, a banana peel at C, and C just threw a milk carton on the ground because he didn't want to hit E. So E decided he was gonna go ahead and throw it back at C, and he threw it at C, and C's sweater was all covered in milk. It's horrible. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next video. Goodbye. No, 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 no. Why is this not working?